everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this beautiful muted color fall farmhouse wreath using products from Dollar Tree, Joann Fabrics, Walmart, and Hobby Lobby. So if you want to see how I make this, stay tuned. So for this we're going to need some zip ties, some pipe cleaners or chenille stems, a hot glue gun, wire cutters, scissors, or a rotary cutter, it doesn't matter. A 14-inch wire frame from the Dollar Tree. I have some white sunflowers from Joann Fabrics. I have a bag of pumpkins from Hobby Lobby. We're going to be using the white pumpkins in this. I have a 21-inch roll of Deco Mesh from Joann Fabrics. I have white burlap from Walmart. A gray pumpkin from Hobby Lobby. Pick your own pumpkin patch sign from Hobby Lobby. And you're gonna need some sort of plaid ribbon. I have a plethora of different ones here. These are left over from Christmas. This is this year's Joann Fabrics. And then some accent ribbon. So for this style of wreath, we're gonna use the ruffle or the poof method. So all I'm gonna do is take this Deco Mesh and I'm going to bunch it up on the bottom. And then I'm going to take a zip tie and I'm going to find this bar right here. It's hard to see because my table's kind of the same color, but there's a bar right here. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 bars. So we're going to use the second bar in. And I'm going to go on that second bar and I'm going to go on the one that goes vertically. I'm going to take my zip tie. I'm going to go right over it. And just zip it up. I like using zip ties because you can do it pretty much one-handed. Okay, I'm gonna grab that as far as it can go. So now when I flip it over, you see it's on the second bar in, and then it's also attached horizontally to that bar. So now we're gonna take it and we're gonna poof it, and we're gonna come to the next vertical bar and we're gonna do the same thing. This is probably the easiest Deco Mesh method that there is. I only like doing it with the really large, like the 21-inch Deco Mesh, because otherwise it doesn't really look full. So we'll do one more. And I'm gonna zip that same thing on that vertical bar, and I'll come back when I have the whole wreath covered. So I've ended where I started, which is right here, you can see. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this off where I zipped the end of it. And as long as your zip ties are really tight, you should have no worries about that going anywhere. So that's the first round of it. Now, instead of following the same zip tie patterns as you did the last time on those vertical bars, instead you're gonna come down on the second one up, this one right here, and you're gonna come in the middle of the vertical bars. So there's the 2 vertical bars, and you're gonna come right here in the middle, and you're gonna do that, and you're gonna do the same thing all the way around again. Okay, the whole wreath is now covered in the burlap poly mesh here. So now we're gonna make our little accent bunches. So you're gonna need 5 pieces, 8 inches long of 4-inch wide ribbon. You could use the thinner one and just not roll it, but this is what I have, so I'm gonna use it. So I'm just gonna take this and roll this up so it creates like a little decorative tube. It does not have to be tightly rolled or anything. So I'm gonna take one of those, and I'm gonna take an 8-inch piece of the gray ribbon that I have from Joann Fabrics and scrunch that up. I've dovetailed all of these. There's 5 pieces of these, 5 pieces of the gray, And then I've cut 5 pieces of the white burlap from Walmart, just enough so you can make a little tube out of it. I've also cut in half my chenille stems. So I'm gonna take one of these like this. I'm gonna lay the gray one over it like that. And then I'm gonna take a roll of burlap and put that right in the middle. And we're just gonna take our pipe cleaner, pull it even, twist it, and we've got a little bouquet. So I'm gonna go ahead and make 5 of these. When you make this style of wreath with the poofs, you do end up with kind of like a bald spot in your mesh, just because the mesh is so thick it doesn't really sit well together. What I do for that is just make a massive bow and stick it over that bald spot so no one will ever even be able to tell that it's there. So I've taken that 4-inch ribbon and just made a basic bow. If you want a video on this, give me a thumbs up and I'll make one, but I'm not going to get into that now for time purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and take a pipe cleaner and run this right through the ribbon and attach it onto the work form on whatever bars I can get it onto. It doesn't really matter. And I'm not going to go too tight with this so it doesn't sit too far down into the wreath and look a little funky compared to everything else. So there's that bow. We can fluff it when we're done. So now I'm going to take this sign from Hobby Lobby, and all I've done is cut the wire that was the hanger for it. And I used wire cutters and I cut that in half, and now we're going to use that piece to our advantage. And we're going to attach this to the wreath using those wires onto the wreath form. Okay, so I got that onto the back of it. Looks like this. Just make sure you cover this with a piece of burlap or something so someone doesn't scratch themselves or nick up their door. So now we're gonna take our bunches and we're gonna fill in holes. Try to figure out where you want your pumpkin. This is usually how I do it. I start laying things out just so I know where I want everything to go, and I don't attach anything until I feel like I'm satisfied with the way that it looks. I think the best part of making a wreath is just hot gluing stuff onto it. Just get creative. There's no right or wrong way to put stuff onto a wreath, and this is really just the best part of it. All the base poly mesh, burlap, whatever you want to use is really the technical part, but this is where it gets fun. So I don't really want to instruct you one way or the other. As long as you have the basic template for it, go crazy and do what you want. Okay, so here's the finished wreath. I did go ahead and add the white sunflowers on, and I also accented with the leaves from the white sunflowers, just because I think it just breaks up the gray tones just a little bit. So thanks for watching, guys.